I'm April. Standing at my wedding reception, I was on cloud nine, surrounded by the soft glow of candles and the gentle murmur of well wishes. I had just married the love of my life, and everything seemed perfect. But then, like a bolt of lightning shattering a calm sky, my parents took the microphone. They started with smiles and laughter, acting all cute. I naively thought, maybe today they'd be normal. But then, the words that cut through the air like a knife: she never went to law school. Honestly, it's been such an embarrassment for us. She's a real failure. The room went dead silent. It felt like all the air had been sucked out. I sat there, completely frozen. I had no idea what to say. But before I could even start to process this, my husband, Jake, shot up from his seat. He didn't stand up calmly. It was as if he'd been waiting for this moment his whole life. He grabbed the microphone, stared straight at my parents without a hint of a smile, and said, "Should I tell everyone why she never went to law school?" A heavy silence filled the room. I knew something big was about to happen. My mom tried to laugh it off, but my dad's face tightened. Jake continued, "Because the $150,000 that her grandparents left for her law school education disappeared." The room was filled with gasps. People couldn't believe what they were hearing. Jake didn't stop there. He went on, "They took it, spent it, and then spent years calling her a failure for something they caused." At this point, people were turning in their seats, looking at my parents in disbelief, as if to say, "What?" Jake was on a roll. She worked hard, she tried, she asked questions, and instead of honesty, she got shame. So no, she's not a failure, she was robbed. My dad tried to interrupt, but it was a huge mistake. Jake hit back with, "If you want to talk about embarrassment, we can keep going." And just like that, my dad fell silent. The rest of the night, people were giving my parents sideways looks. They sat there, exposed, with no more jokes or speeches. Now, let me take you back to the beginning. I grew up in a well-to-do family in a small town. My parents, Richard and Linda, were always very image-conscious. They had high expectations for me, especially when it came to my education. My grandparents, who were very loving and supportive, had set aside $150,000 for my law school. It was supposed to be my ticket to a bright future. I was excited about going to law school. I had big dreams of making a difference in the world. But as I got closer to the time when I needed to start applying, I noticed something strange. The money was gone. I asked my parents about it, but they always came up with excuses. They'd say things like, "There were some unexpected expenses," or "the market crashed, and the money is tied up." I was so confused. I worked part-time jobs, trying to save up money for law school, but it was never enough. I felt so helpless. I tried to have serious conversations with my parents, but they would either deflect or make me feel like I was being unreasonable. As the years went by, my parents started to use my not going to law school as an insult. They'd say things like, "You're such a disappointment. You could have been a lawyer, but you just wasted your chance." I felt so small and unworthy. Fast forward to my wedding day. I was so happy. I had met Jake, a kind and wonderful man. He knew about my situation with my parents and the missing money. He was always there to support me. When my parents made those hurtful comments at the wedding, I was devastated. But Jake, my hero, stood up for me. He exposed the truth, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I felt seen and validated. The rest of the night was a bit surreal. People were still whispering about what had happened. My parents sat there, looking defeated. I could see the shame on their faces. As I look back on that day, I realize that sometimes, the truth has a way of coming out. Karma really does have a way of catching up with people. And I'm so grateful to Jake for standing by me and showing the world who I really am. If you like stories where justice is served and the truth prevails, hit that subscribe button. I've got more stories like this that you don't want to miss. Also, Leave a comment and let me know where you're watching from and what part of this story stood out for you. I love reading your comments. See you in the next one.